Hi Leo, welcome to my channel. This is your Valentine's reading for February 14, 2020. A little disclaimer, I am an intuitive tarot reader, so sometimes I use exactly what the cards mean, but most of the time what I do is I use the pictures and the images and how they kind of, like, when I look at something, that's when I get the messages. So that's how I'm going to relay this to you. Okay, so if you're very traditional, if you're really into the traditional tarot, then I'm really sorry. You might really hate this. However, I really hope that you would still be open to listening to the messages, especially if it resonates with you. So please don't forget to like this video and subscribe if you like what you hear. So, okay, Leo. All right. So, well, the world is your oyster when it comes to your relationship. There is somebody here that I feel that your partner is really, really in love with you and adores you and really puts you in some sort of pedestal, and you very much have their heart in your heart in your hand, and you very much are in control and in charge of this relationship. I mean, I think that's great. But always remember that how we treat people will come back to us. Right now, this is the Wheel of Fortune. It's always turning. Sometimes things are good and sometimes they're not. And right now, it's almost like you're at this point where you're kind of observing what to do next with your relationship or with your life in general. So you have all these tools, you have all the opportunities that this good time in your life has brought you, this very extremely fortuitous position in your life. All right? But what I'm being told is that, look, for their next steps in this relationship, I want you to take your time, rest, because if you act too rashly and make decisions for your relationship that is really just for you, it's going to come back to bite you in the butt. Okay? Oh, sorry, I kicked the camera. It's going to come back and bite you in the butt. Because while your partner loves you and will follow you anywhere, it's good, you have to not let that get to your head. Okay? Because what I'm seeing now is that in your relationships for 2020, the person that I'm reading for here, whoever's watching this, is in a relationship. Okay? So this, for me, this is the card of Judgment. The way I feel this comes out is that you get what you put in. So what you've put in the past is going to come back full circle. And in your relationship right now, it's never too late to kind of pull back a little bit, loosen the reins, even though, let's say, your partner has depended a lot on you for the decision making. That to remember that this person could be very, very passive now and saying yes to everything. But then later on, his family or he can say, like, hey, wait a minute, I did all the stuff that I didn't want to do just to make you happy. Did you ever think of me and the position that this would put me in? So always remember how you treat your partner, how decisions are made in the family. You have to make sure that it's for everyone's good. It's not only just what makes you happy. It's a partnership, it's a relationship. And if you have children, they are involved too, especially if they're very young children. Okay, so that's just, and Leo, I'm seeing that you're also I think that you're very, very lucky in terms of what this has brought you. This relationship has brought you, the opportunity that it has brought you, and also how financially abundant it is as well for you, okay? It's very, very funny because I see all of this, but at the same time, it's like you're also in a position where you could also leave it. I'm not so sure why, but probably because the relationship that you are in, even though, let's say, you're calling the shots per se and you have all this stuff, it almost feels like you might want to leave it one day. And I don't exactly understand why. I mean, if you resonate with this, maybe leave a comment below and help me understand why you are feeling this way. I do feel that it also could be because there could be more hurt coming on. Like I said, there's this judgment, there's this, you get what you put in. And there are certain actions perhaps that you have done in the past that are going to come back, and maybe that is why you want to leave. Okay, maybe you want to leave because perhaps maybe there's a bit of ego involved, and it just might seem easier that way than sticking around. All right, so even though you have a wonderful start and you have a wonderful relationship, and yes, there have been challenges and everything, I do feel that it's very important to kind of see the bigger picture of this kind of like connection that you have with this person and the people around him, and the people that are very much involved in your partner's life that you aren't used to. Sometimes we're just like that we have someone we're completely in love with and we feel like we have everything, but then perhaps you just like them and not all the other stuff that's attached to them, like their family and, let's say, traditions, or for example, the kind of lifestyle. While that is all in good, you know, I do feel that this is going to cause you some trouble in this relationship. Like, I think that it could also end in a breakup at some point in time. So whether this is salvageable, I do feel that if you start to kind of like think about your relationship and think about in terms of what makes both of you happy, even if that means, I mean, maybe you gave their family a try, or maybe you gave their life a try, or the way they wanted to do things a try, and it just wasn't for you. And then now this person is giving your lifestyle a try. There has to be a balance in between, and hopefully not too many bridges were burnt that perhaps your partner didn't want to burn in order to make you happy. So that's the problem I see. And it's also, you know, well, you know, it's difficult because if you're in this type of relationship, there's a lot going on and there's a lot at stake. But I feel that it's still salvageable, but if you kind of take the time to be like, okay, well, what is right with this picture, and what is it that perhaps was my contribution to whatever problems you might be facing now or in the future. Okay, I hope that made sense. I'm not sure if that made sense, but if it didn't, just make a comment below. I really would love to hear from you. I hope this resonated. And yeah, so that's your Valentine's message for 2020.